like
It felt like with Goldfinger they finally nailed what Bond could be, so surely from here on out it'll be smooth sailing. I don't mean like literally smooth sailing, like don't set your next movie like in the water all the time or on boats. That would be a really boring disaster of a movie. Oh no. Thunderball has a very simple plot. Spectre have stolen 2 atomic bombs and they're holding to a ransom for $100 million. Sorry, legally I have to do that. It's actually not our only Austin Powers comparison because our villain is the second in command of Spectre, number 2.
My number 2 man, his name? Number 2, the legitimate face of my evil empire.
Sit down, number 2.
Emilio Largo is the villain. He's second in command of Spectre. He's fine. I think the problem is that that type of villain is such a, classic Bond villain that he's kind of been spoofed to death and done to death. So that when you actually watch him, it feels a bit predictable and uninspired.
I will say the film starts really promisingly. Bond crashes a funeral and punches a man dressed as a widow.
I've come to offer my sincere condolences.
And then he escapes on a jetpack. And yet, all that goodwill is very quickly washed away.
Yeah, as I said, this movie's got a lot of water in it. Half the movie is underwater. Seriously, there's more underwater scenes in this movie than Aquaman. So slow and boring. Because everyone just takes ages to get anywhere and the combat is slow and awkward. And technically, it's really impressive, especially for the time. But something being technically impressive doesn't make the movie very good. Right, Avatar? You can't really create many interesting moments in a fight underwater. Most of it is just, ha, I took your mask off and now you're screwed because you're underwater. That's not very exciting. It also means that most of the deaths aren't very exciting. It's just someone being stabbed or someone's air pipe being slashed over and over again. Oh yay, more water. This time in a swimming pool. Holy God, he's got a shark. Oh my God, feed him to the shark. Feed him to the shark. Movie redeemed. Feed him to the shark. Oh, that's the lamest way you could have done that. Come on, movie. For the Thunderball theme song, we got Tom Jones, Baby. And it's actually a pretty good song. It's kind of psychedelic, it's weird. It's kind of catchy. I mean, this one really turns it up a notch though as far as nonsense lyrics and Bond themes go. Like, what's this about?
He strikes like thunderball.
He strikes like a thunderball? What? As far as nonsense lyrics goes though, I really hope this one is nonsense because this sounds pretty bad.
His days of asking are all gone.
His days of asking are gone. Oh no. God, I hope those silhouettes of women are swimming away from him. Jesus Christ. I don't know what's up with Bond in this movie. He's just a total prick in this film, more than any of the other ones. He's really forceful with some of the women at times.
Look, Lago had your brother murdered.
I hope this part was consensual.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
He gives a woman a compliment for swimming like a man.
Most girls just paddle around. You swim like a man. That gun. Looks more fitting for a woman.
He does have a few good moments, like there's the moment where he kills a guy with a harpoon.
You must have followed us.
I think he got the point.
I also like when he's just chiding the villain about being Inspector.
Yes, I thought I saw a spectre at your shoulder.
What do you mean?
The spectre of defeat. Ah, it's your spectre against mine, huh?
Spectre? Spectre.
We get a pretty lame torture scene where Bond is stuck to a spine stretcher, which I guess sounds horrifying, but visually it looks so goofy. Hey, if that's not your bag, though, we get another therapeutic torture scene where Bond steams a man to death.
What the hell do you think you're doing? Now, don't you worry. But I'll tell the sheriff.
Let me out of this bloody machine! Help!
Full steam ahead. Look, you're probably wondering why the movie is called Thunderball, and I mean, shouldn't this answer your question?
One of you is clearly guilty of embezzlement.
I would say he definitely had a pair of Thunderballs. The British spies had something called Operation Thunderball. As for our Bond girls in this film, our main Bond girl is Domino. Now, I thought she was pretty uninteresting. I don't feel she had that much to do in general. But she does actually kill the villain in the movie, which is a pretty big deal and certainly a massive step forward for the women in the Bond franchise.
I'm glad I killed him.
You're glad.
Our other Bond girl is Fiona Vulpa, a Spectre assassin, and she's actually a very interesting character. She's got a sort of femme fatale quality to her in that she isn't wooed by Bond. She uses her sexuality to get what she wants. She's very much like a female version of Bond in some ways.
James Bond, who only has to make love to a woman and she starts to hear heavenly choir singing. She repents and immediately returns to the side of right and virtue. But not this one.
But the movie doesn't seem entirely sure of what to do with her, and because of that she doesn't actually live for very long.
One of my friends sits this one out. She's just dead.
Which is a shame, but it feels at least with Thunderball they're making some step towards more refined and more developed Bond women.
Aren't you in the wrong room, Mr. Bond?
Not from where I'm standing.
Since you're here, would you mind giving me something to put on?
Oh, yeah?
The ending of this movie is also just really weird. It's like really wacky out of nowhere. It's like they decided to kind of go a bit campier, like based off the last entry, but they only decided to do that towards the end. And it just means that it's wildly inconsistent. What is up with the steering in this boat scene? It just looks way worse than even the previous films. And what's up with these punch sound effects?
Oh, I think I know where this is going. Here comes the boat. Whoa. Oh. Well, I give him points for creativity at least. I mean, of all the movies that have boat sex in it, you think it'd be the one where you're on a boat or in the water 90% of the time.
How do you sum up Thunderball? Pretty boring. The villain is largely uninteresting. I don't even blame the film or the villain in this regard. I think it's mostly the fact that this is the type of Bond villain that we've seen parodied and spoofed so often that nowadays the villain comes off as such a stereotypical Bond villain that it's hard to actually engage with him on any significant level, which just makes the film that bit less exciting. A lot of the side characters aren't even of note, but the Bond women certainly make some big strides in this film to being a little bit more developed, having something to do, and certainly playing a role in the plot, which puts it leaps and bounds ahead of some of the previous entries, but even some of the entries that would follow. Bond is a lot less likable in this film, to the point where he's a bit of a prick, and as a result of that, it's hard to root for him, which again makes us a little bit less interested in the film as a whole. He loses a lot of his charm this time around. Biggest problem with the film though, and one of the reasons it is so boring, is all of the water and underwater scenes. What is up with all the underwater scenes in this movie? They are really boring and slow, and generally speaking grind any of the plot to a halt. Technically, very impressive, certainly for the time. But it feels like they put so much effort into being technically impressive that they forgot to put any effort into any other aspects of the film. As a result, Thunderball drops the ball.
Greetings from all of us here at Spectre. If you enjoyed the latest batch of intel on 007, be sure to press that like button. And if you want to make sure you don't miss the next transmission of confidential information on 007, be sure to press subscribe. Stay evil, my friends. Spectre out.